Okay, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. It is Monday morning, August 17th. Okay, so I wanted to cover something right out of the gate. So I sent out a chart book over the weekend. Let me make sure no one's waiting to get into the unusual whales. There is. I don't understand how Google does things, but so be it. Okay, so um, I sent out a chart book, right? So the chart book has a separator. I want to explain it very slowly so I understand. There's a separator at VWAP, okay? So it will only take shorts if the bar closes below VWAP. It can be by a tick, but it closes below VWAP, and it only takes longs above VWAP. Secondly, it is limit orders. So if the market just jumps and goes, you will probably not get filled, and that's all right with me. The intention is for ES, but it's set to limit on both NQ and ES. If someone wants to change that to a market order, let me know, but that way it's easier for me to control the trade. Additionally, if it prints a bar up here, okay, sorry, my headset dropped. If it prints, let's say you're looking to go long here. I know it's under VWAP, but it's the easiest example, right? Or here, you're going to short, well, it's above VWAP. So um, let's say you were going to short this bar, just for example, at 930, right? It is designed so if the next bar prints up, it stops you out for a smaller loss. Okay. I want it to basically print like this and go straight down, or print like this and go straight up, right? So that's the intent. If we need to change it going forward, or someone wants a different version where it doesn't do that, that's a very easy adjustment, and just let me know, okay? Um, so that's the first piece. The second piece is, you know, what am I looking for? So today, if we look closely, the reason I wrote I'm looking for a short is if we come to unusual whales and we look here first thing this morning and we go to SPY. So this is one piece in a puzzle of many pieces, okay? But if you look, the market withdrew a considerable amount of liquidity. We went from 2.55 million down to 723,000. Okay, that's a big liquidity drop. Now, and I'm building a matrix for this so we can assess quickly, right? So what we have is ES and positive gamma with a liquidity pool, meaning withdrawal. Okay, so now if you put those two pieces together, some of the biggest days down, some of the biggest days down are when liquidity gets pulled. The combination that's best for that is um, when you both have negative gamma and a liquidity pool. Okay, so we have an in-betweener. We have a liquidity pool, okay, but in positive gamma. So what does that tell me? Doesn't mean we can't. So first of all, neither one tells you that you can't go up or that you can't go down. Okay. I have found a pretty strong correlation between liquidity being pulled and a rotation lower. So what the positive gamma tells me is that usually on those days, what happens is we open up and who knows how we open, but then we roll down, right? And we come to support and we tend to do some variation of roll back up. You know, sometimes it closes at the bottom third, but it usually doesn't do what we do in negative gamma. So if you had this same setup, so if we had this, and this, right? I would say we could have a significant down day, right? The potential is there for a significant down day. And you can see when gamma is negative, like that's a really tiny chart. That moved down quite a bit, okay? So in that environment, what I would expect is to roll lower, lower, lower. That's where we get big trend days out of, right? And they tend to have the potential to close at or near the low. When you're in positive gamma, at some point, it does some variation on this, and then it either goes all the way back up or it goes and closes in the bottom third, but it rarely closes on the low of the day. It can, it tends not to. So that's one piece of the puzzle, right? Secondly, okay, so what is this telling us? So I know the put wall is at 775. That translates into 7769. So you got to remember there's multiple elements going on at once. And what a lot of people want to do is they want to treat it all as one element. Oh, they withdrew liquidity. It must simply go straight down. It doesn't. We're likely to get a response at or near this 7769, and it's your clear and present target down, right? You would look for a responsive buy in that area. So that might be a good place to turn off the trader assist, right? You may want to, if we hit that, you may want to go, hey, I'm going to stop shorting now. I should have caught some kind of trade into that level, and if I didn't, I may have missed it, right? Because we're in positive gamma, but with liquidity pulled out of the market, right? Now, if we lose 77.69, you will see it is quite a bit of ways before we get to the next level. So as we approach, I'd probably want to cover strongly or completely close the position. Now, if we go underneath, come back up, right? So we come down, I go, oh, they're probably going to cover. I'm probably going to cover when I get down here, right? But if we break it and we come back up and I get an algo down, right? Sorry, come back up. Then I'll go down and I would target 77.19, right? I'm going to target level to level. So how am I going to decide whether I want to stop shorting or not shorting? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, how are calls positioned? How are puts positioned? What I want, okay, so you should have this drawn out already, so you're not trying to figure it all out in real time, right? So what I want, I'm actually ahead of time for once. Um, There we go. So what I want is close to what it looked like on Friday, except on Friday, my puts were below the zero line. So for a great short, right, I would like to see my volume negative on both SPYs and market tide. I would like to see puts over zero, and I like to see calls under zero, and I would like price under zero, right? So you don't always get all elements together, right? But we have a couple of good elements. They've pulled liquidity, right, in both NQ and ES. That's a positive for the short. So now what we want to see is, are we below VWAP? You can have an easy checklist. Are we below VWAP? Right now, you have to wait till you get 2 bars up and some algo down. And if you're really, really conservative, you're waiting till we hit the top of the Keltner channel, which if you'll go look, you can turn them on or off as needed. Okay, they're in there. They're all labeled Keltner channel. Okay, this will not short at the bottom. The trader assist is not set up to short at the bottom of the Keltner channel. It has to top. If you saw if this is the Keltner channel like this, right? It has to get like within the top third of that range and touch in order to trigger a short. I can set it more aggressive, but the more aggressive I set it, the more careful you have to be when we V off the bottom like we did here, you'll pick up a lot of stops in there. So it's each of y'all have to make a decision as to how aggressive you want. The downside is when it first rolls, a lot of those shorts come off the bottom, right? So it's not a turn on and forget it kind of algo. It's, is everything lining up? Okay, so let's go through the list one more time. And I'm going to show you exactly what I would like it to look like. My perfect view. Oh, well, that was pretty close, but that's not it. Where's our last down day? There. That's, now you're going to notice something, right? See this? This is exactly what I want it to look like, and it's still rallied up. Once it gets above zero, the short is difficult, right? So you'll see on the cross, we caught a great short, and then it reversed and came back up. Just because you have it set up for short does not mean that it is absolutely short by any stretch of the imagination. Just because puts are above zero and calls are below zero does not mean it can't rally. You want to go look at that particular day. That was Friday, July 31st. It was the last day of the month, obviously, and those days can be weird anyways, but that's what it looked like. Okay. If you, let me find another example. That's pretty much a perfect trend day up picture, right? Again, you'll notice if I focus on the longs, when the, see the yellow line is the price, when it's above zero, I'm going to get lucky a lot more on taking my trades to the long side. And for short, I need it to look like, nope. That's close, but it didn't stay that way, didn't stay that way. Again, you'll notice, so I need the volume, I need net volume to stay negative. This had almost everything except volume flipped, and you'll see in the afternoon, it was a beautiful short to the downside. I remember that day was a good trading day. Okay, so what I don't want, and then there's your perfect trend day down, and you'll see even when it's quote unquote perfect and all below zero, there's a significant counter rally back up. Okay, so the reason why I keep emphasizing that is I want you to recognize a couple of things. First of all, the range has been between on ES. Now it's 30 to 60. Okay, and most days it's been 40 to 60. Okay, so you should be aware of what the range is, right? Secondly, it can rally significantly in a down market, and even in a market that's going to rotate back down again, the rotation back up can be significant, even with everything looking perfect. What's the reason for that? One of the reasons for that is we're in positive gamma. So it can rally. Please, please, please don't sit there and short every single move because it would suck for you. Okay. Secondly, I'm showing you what it looks picture perfect, right? But there can be variations on that. And I'm obviously trading the cross. So here I'm going to show you. I want to find a picture perfect day. That's as close to a picture perfect day. And it still rallied in the morning. See how it opened up down? Right? Still rallied significantly and then went into trend down in the afternoon. And at the very end of the day, found responsive buyers for a significant rally. I remember that day too because I covered, right? But you'll see if you focused on the shorts while it was underneath, right? You also know that you got a lot, once you got to resistance, it had a lot of pushes down. So next, I would like NQ and ES to align. So I'm going through my checklist, right? I want below VWAP is one of my safeguards. I want preferably price below zero, puts over zero, calls under zero, right? And net volume negative. That's an easy checklist to go through. It's 5 items, right? And then lastly, we've made the last piece pretty easy, right? Which is if it's below VWAP, so the trades that I selected on this first run, which are most conservative, is the dot down, okay, and white bar down. Okay. And then for the longs, the same thing, green bar up, dot up. If you want it super, super conservative, just push it to the dots. And then the most conservative would be dot up with green bar up or square, right? They don't always come together. So I can make it as conservative or as restrictive as you would like in terms of the trading setup, right? I can make it very hard. The objective is not to trade a lot. The objective is so the easy solution, remember, if you feel overwhelmed, right? The easy solution, the pink line is VWAP. Am I under VWAP or not, right? And then you have to figure out tick size. So we're about to open, right? There's a big decision coming out on some stock that is massively shorted. There's a court decision that's coming out today, and it's probably going to move the NASDAQ at some point. Here, I'll tell you what it is. It is on a company called, I don't know what the stock is. MBIS. Okay, so that thing is likely to be down a lot or up a lot, and that's one of uh, Michael Berry's apparently one of his big shorts. I don't follow Michael because I think he's totally insane and doesn't know what he's doing with the retail stocks. And if he makes money shorting, God bless him, because he's so buried in his position. Matter of fact, I saw a funny meme this weekend that said the true cost of Michael Berry's subscription isn't $320 a year; it's bankruptcy. So he's gotten the tech rally pretty wrong. At any rate, long story short, we're about to open. ES is opening up under VWAP, right? I do not know what the econ is today, so I'll go look real quick. And just breathe and take it easy, okay? Just breathe and take it easy. I do not see any econ at all, actually. Housing market index, no one cares about it. So, at any rate, we'll be susceptible to obviously the Iran, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, if you saw the pictures of the balance area, we have to get back inside that balance area, right? We'd have to get back inside that balance area in order to roll lower. But the key thing is pretty straightforward, right? The immediate target up, right? There's the call wall, 78.20. There's the put wall right below it, okay? And the only thing I have not done on this is enabled trading locks off. I just want to make sure they're not. This is running in sim. I have this running on regular in my accounts. I'll remove these trade windows momentarily. This is for ES. And then I need to move it for trade. And then this is for the 32 tick. I need to fix these two. 1 second. So those were sent as live. If you're running them in sim, make sure you change them. And again, I would pretty much. And there's dot down that should have or would have fired if you're running it right out of the gate. And I may have left the time at 8:35 instead of 8:30, which I probably did. And then I was saying I was watching a show on geology, and I thought I had a pretty good analogy to trading, which is geology, right? Is the inevitable result of pressure applied over time on an object, right? That's what geology is, whether it's a diamond, a rock, a fault line, a volcano. It's pressure building over time. And if you will simply increase your trade size over time, right, you should be okay. So what I'm going to do is detach all these, chart, trade, detach. So I'll just run these on the side. I'll reset this. So it's calls and puts over 0 and net volume positive, right? So again, remember they're going through all the orders right out of the gate. And make sure you adjust your size and what product you're trading for, okay? And ES is getting pressure right out of the gate, which I am not surprised by at all, by the way, just FYI. And it still calls over puts, net volume is turned negative. This is down 7. And I would strongly suggest, so you see the 2 bars that would have fired right out of the gate. 1, 2 on ES, nothing on NQ so far. Okay. So please, please, please keep your trade size correct. Does anyone have any questions before I roll into focusing on the day? Net volume's negative on QQQ, but calls are above 0, puts are above 0. Brian, you need to update to the most recent version of Sierra Chart and substitute out, and it should work. That's why it's not showing. But warning, your other charts will not work when you do that. You're gonna have to substitute. That's what I've been telling people, to substitute the ID 30. So you may want to wait till we can do it later today. I can't do it right now. If yours is not showing up, you have to download the latest version of the chart, and it'll work. That's why it's not working. And SPY has negative volume, but it's calls over puts, etc., etc. So you go to help, download current version, it'll work, but then your older versions aren't going to work because you have to take out ID 30. Brian, if you can hear me, what you do is you want to go to the old version, you have to take out ID 30, then you have to go analysis, add custom studies. Once you remove it, you go to add custom study and you'll see TMP volume. It's all the way at the bottom. There it is. All the way at the bottom. It's called TMP VPOC lock DLL. And you got to add that, and then your old charts will work as well. That's how that works. But this new chart should work just as soon as you update it. And that's why I put it out last night, was in the hopes that it would help people out. So yeah, that sucks. It's Monday. Go slow, stay focused on your objective. Yes, near the low of the day. I was hoping for a pop-up. We're not getting a pop-up. And NQ near the low of the day. And that 3183 is a gamma level for ES, for NQ, excuse me. So NQ is still positive on the day, just FYI. And I'm going to try to get rid of some of the distracting things here. Sorry, I did not think that through. Or I would have simply run it in another. There we go. So the way you turn those stats off if they're bothering you is you go all the way to the bottom where it says trade stats, on screen display, drop the menu and hit no. It gets rid of them. Hoping for Zirali. There goes NQ up. That's good. I have a white bar down with double square. Dang it. Right on VWAP. That got busted. I haven't done anything yet because I'm obviously still chasing this thing around. I thought I had everything done, but I don't. I'll fix this. There we go. And you'll see we came off that gamma level, 3183, nothing on ES. And get rid of this. And go with where is it? I've lost it somehow. Okay, I know it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, that isn't right. Sorry. Here, let me get rid of it. Oh, I know I did wrong. Okay. No, wrong one. Which means I deleted it, which means I've got to fix it. Number 3. No, it's correct. White dot down on NQ on the 24 tick. You can see again under VWAP, fired to the short side. Okay. And no, I did not get it because I was messing with this. So I'm just waiting patiently. You'll see on the ES4 tick, white bar down, white dot down, fired, right? Again, I don't have mine set up till 8:35. I didn't move them to 8:30 because I didn't think I had to. But there you have it. But at least I know the algo is working, which is what I'm most concerned about, right? NQ24 tick down below VWAP, and it ran back into the gamma level. And then this did not fire because it did not hit high enough in the channel. And again, I can make it as aggressive as you want, but for me right now, it's plenty aggressive as it is. We now have cross calls over puts, so the easy way to do that is ES with a 12-point stop, and I will attempt that. Sorry, I moved this. Didn't mean to. Sorry, guys. It's uncrossed itself. The volume is still net negative, but the calls jump there. And I will add on the algo entry down on ES. Yeah, and Brian, the other thing with the computer slowing down, I had to update as well to get that fixed. Just FYI. Green bar down on the reversal there on the 4 tick. A green bar down on the 6 tick. Again, white and white dots down are the best below there, but the green bars do work sometimes, just FYI. And Q over VWAP, just heads up. And negative volume getting cut in half. And obviously the calls are over the puts now. So heads up, that cross did not stick. Q net volume is still negative, but calls and puts over zero along with price. SPY net volume has been cut in half, calls over zero, puts over zero, and then the market tide itself. I really wish it would have opened up stronger, would have made it easier to get set up than opening weaker, but same difference to me. It's all right. I'll get it worked out. So if you have your NQ on, it will fire long after 2 bars down if you have it on the 24 tick, right? So look at your chart and make sure that's what you want to be, is long or short position, right? Net volume still negative, calls over puts. Anyone confused or have any questions? It is Monday, so expect it to roll into a slower grind at some point. Again, I was pretty selective with what I was willing to let the algo take, right? If y'all need me to loosen it up, if you need one person, just send me a message and I'll get to it as quick as I can. But when I went through and looked specifically, white bar down, and if I had my way, it would just be dot down, really. Nice little roll down there on ES, no white bar or white dot down. Remember, some point today, NQ will have that court ruling, the MBIS ruling, and it probably makes It has to do with data centers and blah, blah, blah. And you can look it up if you're more interested in that. The other thing I was going to suggest is when you can't get your trade or you're not in a location where you're going to trade, my wife actually suggests to scoot like 3 feet or 4 feet away from your desk. So that's not the only thing you're looking at, and put something in your hands besides your mouse that will keep you from pressing. Coming up on 9 o'clock, we have the housing deal. Um, yes, is at the low of the day, and Q still trailing behind. And this isn't all this is aligning with, right? Now we need price below zero, price is right above zero. We need calls to go below zero, they're still above, right? So what you want to do is recognize when you have the perfect day, right? It's almost always going to look like calls below zero, puts above zero, and net volume negative, right? And below VWAP. It's almost always going to look like that. And that's where you want to press, right? The rest of the time you're using location or resistance or something like that to set up the trade. And you don't want to be constantly like, it doesn't have to be a constant search for a trade because I promise you the trade's going to come. You don't, if you get off of being on edge, you'll feel a lot better, I guess is what I would say. Sorry guys, I messed that up. Yes, new low of the day. There goes NQ. So see how that took NQ above? If you don't want to be in NQ, right, you just scroll right over and flatten it on out, right? That's how you handle that. And then here's the frustrating part is we don't have enough speed to get the white bars down, and you have to compromise your setup in order to get it, but it can be done. Meaning, sorry, I didn't express myself. The bars will tend to come, and if they don't, what I meant to say was if you'll follow the process, the trade will come and the P&L will come, right? And if for those of you who are good enough to modify off of that, that's fine, no problem. You already know what to do if you can, right? And also we have NQ positive and ES negative, right? Usually when we get those days, it gets pretty choppy. So just keep that in mind. White bar down, white square down, on NQ, below VWAP. Why didn't that fire? Oh, because it's not a dot down. Got it. And if you want me to put that white bar down, I'll have to see what I programmed later. I'm making notes why that white bar didn't fire. Oh, you know what? I know why. It didn't hit the top of the channel. And if I set it up on the mid, that's where you're gonna have to intervene. It'll take too many stops, I promise you. It'll take a lot of stops. That's where you have to manually intervene. It'll get enough trades. I went back and tested pretty thoroughly at the top of the channel. It'll get enough trades. So NQ is right on a gamma level. ES's gamma level is a considerable distance away. If you look over on the A tick, it's down at 77.69, still about 20 more points. So let's see if we can get set up for. So you had the original cross, the 12-point stop held, right? I have not gotten a white bar down or a white dot down on a 4 tick or a 6 tick to take it from a single bar perspective just straight to the downside, right? So one of the things I would have wanted to do is if we could have rallied in the morning up to that resistance at 78.19, I would have liked to have bought puts up at 78.19, given that they removed the liquidity and get this result. So what I was hoping, sometimes you have to have the situational set up. So wasn't eager to short the futures, but if I could have gotten up here, I would have liked to set up for buying some puts up there. It didn't set out of the money puts and it didn't set up, and that's okay. So that's again not that's dot down, but it's not firing because it's not high enough in the channel. And again, I tried to make it lower in the channel. There are just simply too many times. You're gonna have to ask me specifically because it just gets run over if you're not right on top of it and on the turn when you're setting it up at the bottom of that channel. Too many stops. Trying to poke its head back above on NQ. Again, ES and NQ do not match up. One's positive, one's negative. Calls over zero, puts under zero, volume net negative, and it's, again, when they don't line up, it's more challenging to say the least. And there's the white bar with the white square on NQ firing, right? A single reversal bar would take that trade out. And again, NQ does not match ES. So you got to look at the conditions under which he'll stop it right there on the reversal bar. So, which is fine. That's what I want it to do. It's not a difficulty for me. Like I said, ES is just simply easier to trade under almost all circumstances. There's the white bar down short again. Again, it'll keep taking that underneath there, just FYI. On NQ, again, I think ES is much, 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 much easier to trade. Again, I have those scales set pretty widely if you're trading NQ, right? You may want to adjust on that, and that's fine. I set those trades up to swing, is what I want to do. So, at any rate, yeah. And so to go through the checklist, conflicts, NQ positive, ES negative, right? We don't have the perfect picture on the, we don't have the perfect picture. We now have calls under zero, but we have puts under zero as well. Net volume is meh, right? So I'm not overly committed to this one way or the other. I'm just going to see how it develops. And I'm confident that when it sets up strong, I will get paid, right? Sorry. There's the last scale on it. If you need to increase your scales, you're welcome to do that too. Is this all making sense? Am I explaining it well? I see someone's trying to reach out to me, maybe. Is everyone doing okay? Have I explained it well? Joyce, are you confused at all? Anyone confused at all? Okay. Good. This will be the algo for quite a while. I doubt I'll revert back to anything else. Everyone else is good enough to figure out when to, trade up or trade down, et cetera, et cetera. Meaning, if you want to trade resistance or you want to trade at a gamma level, everyone in the room is good enough. But from an auto execute standpoint, this is where I want to make sure I catch my trades. When it gets fast, the auto trader is going to become super important because they'll just ping you in to the trade, right? Right now it's a little bit slow and you can get them. Again, I think the overall read was good due to the withdrawal of liquidity. I was not expecting an up move. I was expecting more of a down move. ES came through and Q's been a little bit of a fight on that. Globex low, today's first hour low on NQ. Again, for Monday, I think the read was excellent. It's choppy. We really haven't done a whole lot, right? With NQ up 20 and ES down 12. The whole thing is just to keep perspective, right? Don't let yourself tell you, oh, I've missed it or anything else. If we expand on range, which again is unlikely on a Monday, we can attack it. But if not, we just stay calm and settled and let the trade come right to us. Yeah, that's a Sierra issue. I agree. Choice. And again, my number one personal goal for the day is to only enter on algo entries. It will probably cost me a little bit right now by not guessing because we're just not getting the signal that we want per se. But long term, I'm totally good with it. And I'm going to just deal with the frustration of being disciplined and not getting the trade versus dealing with the pain of taking off process trades when it sets up perfectly and going, why did I do that? Okay. So the focus is totally on, hey, can I do this correctly? Right? 1 minute to the bottom of the hour. We usually get 3 minutes to the bottom of the hour. We usually get algos when that happens. Calls under zero, puts under zero, and net volume negative. That's a chop. That is a chop setup. Calls and puts under zero on QQQ, net volume negative. Price over zero. SPY, calls under zero, puts under zero, price under zero. Market tide is the one that matters. Sorry guys, I'll fix it. So again, white bar down would have been taken by the 4 tick on ES. Sorry, I didn't catch it because I was busy managing everything else, but white bar down on the 4 tick. Both markets below VWAP, NQ still positive, ES still negative. Calls and puts mixed, but both below zero. Calls over puts, volume below zero. On market tide, are you saying you didn't or you didn't want to, Joyce? As in it didn't fire, or as in you think it should have and it didn't fire? Can we clarify a little bit, please? Calls under zero, puts under zero on QQQ. Okay, I'll have to go look. But it did for me. Why is that? It could be from the chart book. I may have turned off white bar for just pointing control down. Sorry, I know what it is. I did two versions and I sent out the more conservative one. I can send it out. I think I sent it with the pointing control down only, and that's fine. I can fix that, no problem. If you want it, but I think the pointing control down by itself is probably better, except when it's really slow. It's hard to make it, as everyone knows, when it's really just all one way, very, very specific, but we'll get it. Okay, so let's take a look at the PA. It's balanced, slow, and grindy, right? So you don't want to be hyperactive here. You want to pick your spots, let the market pay you for what you get. Do not over respond to movements in the market because it is slow, very slow. Plenty of time, guys. Plenty of time. It's Monday. Let me remind you, you do not, Monday and Friday are the two slowest days of the week. There's plenty of time. So much easier with the options, knowing what the options are, than trying to read the market. Just knowing which way those guys are leaning for me, makes it infinitely easier. super slow, guys, super slow. Don't get caught in the chop is my suggestion. It is not a fast market. It just isn't. This is why I have the most difficulty because I want to go press the trade and I start imagining like I look at ES, I look at NQ and I go, there's no way they're going to take NQ up and then some news comes out or there's a rotation out of ES into NQ and it pops 32.52, right? And I go, what was I doing? Right? And I get mad at myself and then I either have to scout my way out of it, but if I don't make any of those mistakes, or I scout my way out of it or I go get angry and do more stupid stuff. But if I don't have to scout my way out of it, right? I can just wait till it sets it up for me, right? Because like I'll imagine, oh, that's blue square with green bar up. They're going to stuff it. That's what will go through my head, right? They're going to stuff it. And then the next thing you know, I am going, what just happened, right? That's not what I want to do. Same thing with ES. Like if you're in short this, well, you're not short the white bar down, but it would be fine to cover it if you looked at it and said, well, they're not rolling it down. It's not moving the way I wanted to, right? NQ's obviously gave you one trade and paid you, right? But what I'm telling you where my Achilles heel is, right? I look at it and go, it's gonna do this, right? And then I forget it's summertime, right? And then I'll chase the trade around instead of just going, let it break down, give me the white bar with a white dot or the white square and just stay relaxed. I'll start guessing like it'll chop back and forth like it is right now. And then I'll say like, what was I thinking? Right? And then all of us have had it, right? You turn around and go, man, the market barely moved and I'm down huge today, right? Like I'll see how this bar, I'll tell you exactly what, because I've documented it for myself. See how this bar is back at 21, but it just traded down to 12? And in my head, because I think the market will go down, right? I predetermined that it'll go down, that I'll go, oh, that's the bar that's going to form. I don't even wait for the bar to form. I'll short the 12. And now I have to cover the 21 because I thought, oh, they're going to and surely roll it down. So two things I have written down in there. If I'm taking the trade without an algo, is that because I think the process doesn't work or that I won't get a signal? And the signal does, and if I don't get the signal this morning, does that mean I've wasted my time, or do I get marks for trading with discipline, right? Like all those things add up, right? Whoa, that was not supposed to happen. Um, and so I had to stop sitting in there somewhere that got filled, so I had to flat it out. So the whole point behind that, right? The whole point behind that is, what is it that you want to trade? How is it that you want to trade? Right? Did anyone get the ES4 tick? Didn't do it either. I wonder. I just got to go through my notes again to see why I decided that. So again, I don't have to guess because I can just let the trade come to me, right? And that's what I'm working on the most. And then what I see a lot of people, I'm raising my hand too, is that when they do that, when they do that, right, they don't give themselves credit for staying on process and being disciplined. And then we just go through this whole cycle over and over and over again. You know, oh, it's too slow. I don't get my signal. So I'm going to make something up. If I make something up, oh, I was off process. I stopped. And then yeah, I don't know if y'all hear how calm I am versus at other times, but I put all the factors like I list. That's why I wrote the first thing this morning. It's summertime. It's going to be slow. Okay. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine, Randy, because you were on process, right? But yeah, anyways, that's my 2 cents. I think the white bar down is fine, especially when it's this slow. I think that's the new low. Oh no, it's got to take out that low still on it. Cool. I think that's fine. Marginal new low in ES. Five minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Okay. Come on, Kesa. Yeah, it's too hot out there for you, right, Liberty? Oh, sorry, baby. Come on, Kesa. Hey guys, I have calls over zero, puts under zero, volume under zero, and net volume flipping positive. So heads up. We'll see if that turns around again later. And NQ retesting towards the high of the day. Come on, Lib Lib. Queso. Hey, do you have a few minutes? Oh, okay, go. No, no, I have queso outside. I just didn't want to forget them. Just text me in like 5 minutes. Just text me in 5 minutes. Okay, that's fine. So, guys, now when I've gone through my list of what I want to really be short and press my shorts, right? So I got the withdrawal of liquidity, right? I'm under VWAP. Those two are my favorite, but now I no longer have market tide calls under zero, and I no longer have puts over zero, and I no longer have net volume negative. So I am no longer I'm pausing my trader, right, until it all lines up. So the idea isn't that you're just constantly. We've gone through that window where we usually get paid. That's gone away, right? You've either gotten paid or you haven't gotten paid, right? And now you just take that breather, right? You just take that breather and let it let the market figure out what it wants to do. So you're not chasing your tail around, right? Because now we have conflict. It doesn't all line up. You've had about an hour and a half to make some money, right? Does anyone disagree with that, or does anyone see it differently than the way I'm explaining it? So like that dot down, right? That dot down, the algo is going to take it if you don't shut it off, right? And it may just well work. That's a good trade, generally speaking. That is a good trade, right? But not everything's lined up anymore. And I don't know if there was some news. It doesn't even really matter, quite frankly. The stop on ES is wrong, guys. Heads up. The stop on that 4 tick is just wrong. Let me fix it. Should not be any more than 3 points on the 4 tick. And 3.5 or 4 on the 6. It should not be 6 points. Sorry, I missed it. That's why I asked y'all to review them before. No one else caught it either, so that's all right. I'm setting it to 4 for now, and then I'll go ahead and do the detailed work later to see if I can get it tighter. And so that entry was 94 on the 4 tick. So you should drag that down to at least 90. Well, it shouldn't take out that high, so that's easy. So for now, I'm moving it to 97.50. I'm correcting it also in my accounts that actually have it. Have the this is sim, but I'm changing the stops in the other accounts. So just okay. So the character changed. We wanted it to stay red, and it did not. Okay, so my stop's just above that high, and it took it in the other accounts because I didn't get to it, so I've lowered it down to the same space. I'm looking at it right now. It took it. Editor said you don't really want to take it, so c'est la vie. Now, your NQ will fire long in this position, right? So if you don't want it to fire long either, you need to kill it. Joyce, I just said what you have to change. NQ's fine. You need to set them to where you're comfortable. I just said 4, so 4 ticks, 4 ticks. The stop should not be more than 3 points, 2.75 technically. And on 6 ticks, it should not be more than 4 points, probably 3.5. I'm gonna have to go measure. But those are the two settings. NQ's fine. I just goofed the stop on that 4 tick. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get dinged on this in my actual accounts. That's all right. Well, that's a quite a little bit of a sideways move there on ES. Look at that. One, two, three. You don't see that very often. You get over 97, that guy probably has to cover. One, two, three, four white dots in a row. You don't see that very often. And I still have net volume coming on. Calls up, puts down. So again, I'm not interested in fighting this. I'm just relaxed. We're over those guys. Whatever that little zipper battle was, we're over it. Again, calls are coming on, puts are coming off, net volume's increasing. It's not the only thing I got going for me at this point is VWAP, and I'm not interested. Right? So just keep that in mind. And I've got a long week in front of me, so I don't need to be perfect today. I don't have to capture every move. Neither do you, frankly. Just let it come to you. Hey,